Reading romance will improve your sex life, I promise. Hi, romance friends. Janelle here, and I'm so excited to talk to you about all of the spicy ways that reading romance will improve your sexual health beyond the simple fact that it turns you on. Now, just in case you're new here, I am a certified sex educator, a romance book lover, and a sexual health expert reader. So, in my last video, I talked all about the non spicy ways that reading romance improves readers' sexual health. This time around, we are only focusing on the spice, and I want to look at exactly how the spicy, smutty, sexy elements of romance books are elevating your sex life. Again, beyond just the fact that it turns you on, because there's more going on than that I think is really valuable for readers to understand and know so that they can elevate their sexual health and just live with more pleasure and connection. Okay, so let's start with number one. The most obvious reason why reading romance improves your sex life is that it turns you on, right? That sexual tension, the buildup, the moment when the characters finally get together, all of this helps activate your sexual response. Now, this is especially great if you are someone that has a responsive arousal. Your sexual arousal is simply when you feel turned on. So, if you have a spontaneous arousal, that means that your body gets aroused or turned on really quickly when you encounter a sexual stimuli. Whereas a responsive arousal means that it takes time for your sexual arousal to activate and for you to become turned on. So, if you are someone who has a responsive arousal, reading romance can be this great way for you to get into this emotional and mental and physical space where your body can actually become aroused and you can become ready for sexual activity. So let's look at that second reason why reading romance improves your sex life. And this is because romance is this rare place where you get to step into a story and be the main character whose pleasure is centered and not a sexual object. My absolute favorite thing about romance literature is that it is the only space in society that truly centers women, their stories, their joy, and their pleasure. And then by extension, within the subgenres, countless marginalized and underrepresented people also get to have their stories, their joy, and their pleasure centered. So, what happens within this rare realm of culture within romance literature is that all of these people who only ever show up in media and in books as props, they get to open a romance story and have the privilege of being the main character. What this means for readers' sexuality is simply profound. Not only do you get to experience your sexuality, you get to experience in a space where you are the main character, and this whole world and story has been crafted simply for you to be that main character as the subject of your pleasure, and you are not there just to exist as the object of someone else's pleasure. This creates a path for you to embrace and embody your sexuality in this space where there's no shame, no stigma. You just get to be the main character who experiences joy and pleasure, and that is just, I can't even, I'm not sure that's even quantifiable to really understand how incredibly profound that is for readers. So this leads me to number three. And I think it's all connected. So while you're in this space where you are able to experience your sexuality as the main character, as the central subject of all of the pleasure and the experiences, it also gives you this incredible opportunity to boost your sexual awareness and your understanding and your sexual confidence. And this is, I really, in my opinion, I think a big reason why this is able to happen, along with being the main character and being this safe place, is that you're experiencing sexual situations in a closed feedback loop. So the fact that it's a closed feedback loop is really key here. And essentially, what I mean by this is that when you are reading sexual content, it's all happening within yourself, within your mind and your body and your imagination. And as you are encountering these sexual situations and stories, you are getting this instant feedback that you unconsciously adjust to. So you get to decide without any outside pressure whether you like something or not. So you're reading, you step into a variety of sexual situations, and it's just words on the page and your imagination. And you have this freedom to experience the scene fully. But at the same time, if something doesn't resonate with you, you simply stop reading or you skip ahead or you skim. There's no awkward conversation you have to have with someone. There's no need to even name what you're feeling, no reason, no need to explain yourself. And then on the flip side, if something excites you, you just dive deeper into that. You keep reading or you reread, or you find more books by the same author, or you explore that subgenre or that trope further. And so all of this means that there's just low barriers. There's just low barrier. It's just a low barrier exploration that gives you the space to build this sexual awareness and understanding, which then leads to more sexual confidence. Now compare that to real life sexual exploration, right? Where things are so much more complicated and complex and nuanced. And so if you are trying to figure out what you like or you don't like and navigate this with a partner, there's all of these steps because it's no longer that closed feedback loop. Rather, what you have to do now is you got to be honest with yourself. Okay, what's going on? Do I like that? Do I not like that? You got to form cohesive thoughts. Then you have to articulate those thoughts to someone else. Then you have to, as you articulate them, you're risking rejection, you're risking embarrassment, you're risking miscommunication. So you have to navigate this give and take with a partner, and you have to be just so vulnerable in this process. And it's so different than when you are just in a book reading that and it's yourself and your imagination. But when you're reading, you can bypass all of these emotional, mental, social barriers, and it allows you to build confidence in this low pressure, highly personal way. So if you're choosing to engage in partnered experiences, you hopefully have more understanding and awareness and confidence, so it's easier to navigate those complex, nuanced, complicated conversations. So again, because reading romance is this experience that's just happening between you and a book in your mind, in your body, reading romance books is this perfect place for you to enhance your sexual health as you explore and experience and discover sexual fantasies. So this could be you wanting to just discover something new and different. So maybe you're interested in it, but you're not quite sure if you want it to happen in real life, or you don't want to happen in real life, but you want to experience it in text. So reading romance is a perfect place to do that. Or maybe it's something that's a little taboo, or maybe it's really taboo, something you would never do in real life, but it's still a fantasy and you want to explore it in your books. So whatever the fantasy is, you're able to tap into that fantasy and explore that fantasy without any harm to yourself or someone else. Well, besides the obvious sleep deprivation, it's really this harmless place for you to explore sexual fantasy and by extension, hopefully bring more satisfaction to your sexuality and improve your sex life and your sexual health. So last but definitely not least, reading romance improves your sex life by raising your standards and expectations for sexual experiences. Now, before I lose my credibility as a sex educator and someone committed to making romance books more sexually authentic, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about the unrealistic things that are happening in romance books, like multiple orgasms upon multiple orgasms upon multiple orgasms, or the idea that spontaneous arousal is the norm and that everyone is just always ready to engage in sexual activity. What I'm really talking about is something deeper and more important, and that is mutual pleasure. So romance books are probably the not probably, they are the only space within media that really sets this standard of mutual pleasure between partners. So romance authors do an incredible job of raising the expectation of what someone knows that they deserve in a sexual experience, and that is mutual pleasure. And then along with the mutual pleasure, just mutual satisfaction and respect, and just the base level of kindness. And what happens is when we encounter this in book after book after book after book, we realize, oh, okay, that's what it should look like. We should have mutual pleasure. I should be able to be in sexual experience that is that is bringing me as much pleasure and satisfaction as someone else. And it's not just requiring me to make space for someone else's pleasure or for someone else to experience pleasure, but that I also deserve to take space for my pleasure. And that is a truly profound message, and one that is one that is fundamentally changing readers' lives and improving their sexual health. So while I do have some notes for authors on how they can make the spice a little more realistic, that underlying message of mutual pleasure, of mutual respect, of mutual satisfaction is 100% spot on. And it's something that the more you encounter it in romance literature, it's something that can seriously improve your sex life and raise the bar for your own sexual experiences and really help you understand what you truly deserve in within your sexual experiences, within your romantic partnerships. And if you want to dive into that a little bit more, check out my video that I had. I don't know where the clip's going to be, on all about the power of romance, and I talk a little bit more about that. All right, romance friends, so that's it for this video, and those are 5 spicy ways that reading romance will improve your sexual health. And I hope you learned something new, and if you like this video, please hit like. If you want to share it with a friend, click that share, maybe with someone who's kind of been hesitant about reading romance, and maybe this will be what gets them to read romance. And definitely click subscribe so you don't miss any videos. And be sure to check out that free workshop all about how you can make your sex life as spicy as a romance book. So until then, I hope you have a fantastic day and keep on enjoying and embracing the magic of romance.